So, this is part of our 70,000 Tons of Metal interview series.
Amazing.
Yeah, it was freaking amazing, is right. But anyway, before we get started, we want to thank definitely Skipper, Andy, and Allison, and Wolfgang, and everyone over at CMM, including Sonia, who was so gracious to help me set all these up, even when she had a stressful day.
Hi, this is Cronus of Venom.
This is Dante from Venom.
And this is Rage from Venom.
You're listening to the Brutally Delicious Podcast. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. So, here we are again talking about 70,000 tons of metal.
70,000 tons of fucking metal.
Right, which I guess is great for me, but you were like 70,000 times around the block with the dog, right? That's what you were doing?
I was 70,000 miles away.
Right, in 70,000 tears.
Yeah, thanks for rubbing it in.
But yeah, it was an amazing, amazing experience. Lots of great bands, as we talked about last week on the episode. Some more stats for you.
Okay.
So 5,000, total of 5,445 people on that boat. But you never even realize it. I mean,
yeah,
that's crew and musicians and everybody. But still, I mean, some of the shows are packed, but you know, the hallways, and you don't even see anybody. I mean, you don't see that many people, I don't think.
You know what's crazy? That's more people than the town I grew up in.
Really?
Yeah, I grew up in a town of 5,000 people. That was the population.
Right.
and it was a big ass town, and they fit that all on this fucking boat.
Yeah, they put it all on the boat. They went to Cozumel, which was, as I've told you and the 5 listeners we have in a couple episodes before, Cozumel's where I got into the fateful moped accident, whatever.
And Rory had to save your ass.
Rory had to save my ass. In fact, Rory sent me a text day 2, and he's like, "Hey, tomorrow we're in port. You want to go rent a moped?" I'm like, "Fuck you, dude."
So you had internet on the boat?
I did not.
Okay, because I was going to say I would have fucking Skyped in.
Mm-mm. No, I wasn't paying that. I know it's like $30 a day. Plus, to be honest, I like the whole being unplugged and just being in the moment. And
oh, yeah.
Nothing else except like I'm going to go, eat, drink, or find another band to watch.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I saw some great bands. I mean, the band that we're going to be coming up here, Venom, been a fan since, I'm going to say, 83, 82. Never saw them live because they don't get over here that much. They were responsible for most of that, what you'd call black metal.
Oh, yeah. Don't they have a song called Black Metal?
Yeah, that's where it all sort of originated, and we sort of get into that conversation after we talk about them being on the boat and, playing different festivals and how they relate it. We get into the whole, how do they feel to be the originators of the black metal sort of scene, I guess loosely quoted, because Cronus doesn't quite see them as the forefathers of the current black metal scene, if that makes sense. Yeah. And you have to just listen to it and check it out.
I've seen them twice on the boat, and that if they have the same drummer, holy crap.
The same drummer. They've had the same band, he said, for 11 years. So yeah.
The drummer and cymbals are so high. Like, I'm like, how does he even hit them? But the guy just pounds. He's so good.
And he's such a funny guy because the one thing I like about the boat, if you haven't gone, you should go. Denise and I tried to get some peace and quiet from everything for a little bit one day. We were like all the way at the back of the boat on the top level. Like we found a couple lounge chairs in the sun.
Yeah.
And the new Royal Caribbean has redone some of the stuff, and they've got like these water slides that kind of go over the water and slide back in.
Yeah, yeah.
And back there, and here's, I can't think of his name now, from Venom. And he's just riding the slides.
That's the best part about 70,000 tons of metal. It really is. Like I know like advertising is one thing where they're like, everybody has a backstage pass, but like you really do.
Oh yeah. I found his name. It's Dante. And we were sitting there and he'd come down the slide. He's like, "Hey, what's up, mate?" Cause he's got that British accent. Yeah. And then he's back on the slide doing his thing. And I'm like, this is so funny.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I've had some fun times on that boat with artists. Let me tell you.
And I will tell you, we can bring it up some more in the next thing. I don't know where the costume party started, like what year, because I know we went in 2011 when it was first going, and there was no costume party. But
there's a few people with costumes on the last day, but not too many.
Holy cow, dude! The biggest, Denise, my wife here, the biggest thing she noticed was most people are dressed as inflatable penises. and then they go crowd surfing.
There was this guy walking around. I saw all these photos the whole time because so many people bought internet this time around. Mm-hmm. So I was getting live updates all the time. And there was this guy walking around with this like 12-inch like plastic penis.
Yeah.
Like,
there were people as inflatable penises, like their costumes. And then you'd see them crowd surfing in the evening, and I'm like, what the hell? You'd never see this anywhere else.
I saw one guy dressed up as Jesus.
Lots of Jesuses for some reason.
I saw this one guy dressed up as Jesus, and he was in the hot tub, and it was this other guy's first time on the boat, so Jesus baptized him into the metal community. And he threw him under the water and brought him up, and he had his hand on his forehead the whole 9 yards.
And then I saw a Donald Trump guy.
Oh, geez, I saw that. Oh, my God.
He had a whole Secret Service. There was all these guys dressed in black as his Secret Service. And they were fucking like, you go to eat, and they're like clearing the area. No pictures. Back up. They walked around the whole boat the last night trying to like make sure Donald got his way. And they had hats on that said like, make metal great again or something.
Yeah.
Great stuff.
I saw that. I fucking laughed. And this one guy on the forum, like he made a joke about them doing that. He was like, fuck Donald Trump. He ruined my night. And then it turned into like this political rant. And the guy was actually talking about the guy on the boat.
Nice.
And, like the comments were just so rude and mean. And the guy's like, obviously you weren't on the boat. You don't get it.
So I'm not sure how that costume thing came about, but it starts like, if you haven't been, like late on the last day, late in the afternoon, and it just gets better and better as it rolls.
Oh yeah. Man, oh man, it's just crying over here still. Yeah.
So at any rate, I've got Venom coming up, and we've got Pathos. Did you think of a new name for his show yet?
Dude, it's been like 2 minutes.
Well, it's been a week by the time we get this show out.
It's been a week.
Come on now. So, Chris has not come up with a name yet.
Is Pathos Greek?
I don't know what he is, dude.
Well, I don't know. I'm just wondering, because Pathos sounds Greek to me.
So his real name, I don't know if I'm going to debunk the...
oh, then no, we better not do that.
He's got a real name, and we've spoken to him before from a band, but I don't know if we want to debunk him.
No, we won't debunk him.
No, so let's leave him as Pathos, Pathos Metal Reviews. Yep. He's got another one coming up. It's a really good one again. And so I hope you guys tune in. Venom was freaking awesome, especially for me as a massive fan to finally see them twice on the boat, but then to actually, to interview them. And it's funny what you see on stage, and I should know this by now because I've done this for so many years, but what you see in their, online and social media persona, or like back in the day in the magazines, compared to what you get in person. Such nice guys.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely unbelievable, and it was fun. So here we go. Take a listen to Venom.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, I will. I'm still pissed off.
So you guys have done this festival before.
Yeah.
What is it you guys mostly used to do in European festivals? How do you compare a floating festival where you're contained like this to something like Wacken or Hellfest or one of those?
There's a lot more...
a gig's a gig at the end of the day. It's just different setting, isn't it? The gig itself isn't any different. It's just about the environment for the fans. That's what I think these things were invented for, was to give the fans a different experience rather than stand in a muddy field.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying?
And have no access to the...
Well, yeah.
Because here you can't really go anywhere, right?
You're on... Yeah, that's it. You can't have...
Well, I mean, you can say the same thing about a festival, because, where else is there to go apart from the campsite, on the motorway?
Right.
So you're stuck in the fest as well. No, I think it's a great idea because... for the bands, it makes no difference whatsoever where, so long as we've got what we need to do our show.
Right.
The gig's a gig to us, but it's great to see when the fans are getting a lot more value for their money, than just buying a festival ticket and standing in a muddy field, to actually be able to be on a cruise. I mean, fucking hell, listen to all the accents out there, there's people from all over the world. And even us, I mean, where we've just came from, it's ice everywhere, it's fucking freezing cold. you know, to be able to come on something like this, it's a bit like having a summer holiday in the middle of winter.
Right.
It's fantastic, you know.
And as a fan, I mean, being able to bump into you at the bar or...
Yeah.
I mean, I assume people have been pretty cool. I don't see them being, you know, obnoxious like while you're eating or something, but as a fan, it's got to be great to be able to, you know, bump into you at, hey, let me buy you a beer.
The first couple of cruises were a bit sketchy for the bands. The fans didn't really realise it. They were all running around like way too excited.
Yeah. As soon as they saw you from a distance, it was like you could see in it.
You know, and the band really got hassled badly.
That was when we were getting like you trying to put a mouthful of food and there's kids come plunging albums in your face and stuff like, dude, it's 5 minutes, man.
Whereas
I saw that with Danny Filth, the Cradle of Filth, one day. He was eating down there, and like everybody was like beelining right for him. He was very gracious, and he did, you know, he signed everything, but I felt bad. I'm like, that's gotta.
There's a time and a place.
Yeah,
it's like because we're not going anywhere either. So chill, dude. You get your
it's
own
dinner.
stuff,
You're with your family or with whatever. Yeah.
But no, I mean, you know, that was. You know, I think that's one of the good things about the social media is people talked about it, the fans, the bands, because there was a lot of the fans who were saying, yeah, dude, you know, the other fans saying, chill out, you know, the guy's eating his dinner, you know.
Right.
And there'll always be two sides to it. You'll always get the people who say, come on, put your fork down, sign the guy's stuff, you know, but then, you know, you get the other side who say, you know, it's out of order. You know, I personally think because we can't go anywhere, we're going to end our meal and we're going to be sitting here waiting, you know.
And you're going to be at the bar later on in the evening or somewhere, right?
Know, give them 5-10 minutes, and then, you know, it'll be a better experience for everybody. But now everybody's chilled now. It's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, this is round 10 of this 70,000 tons.
Yeah.
This is our third shot, and everybody's chilled. It's great.
Yeah, I was on the first one back in 2011. They went out of Miami, and it was definitely a lot different. A smaller ship and a smaller vibe. And I've missed you the years you guys have been here. I've missed both times. So
it was the second one we did
first
2012,
12 and then 15.
Yeah,
and then
it was the smaller boat on our first time.
Okay, so you guys were still on that smaller one,
Yeah.
That was when it was 70,000 tons.
Yeah.
Now it's more
right, a lot bigger, right?
140,000 tons.
They didn't have this mall or anything. It was just a boat.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah. Well, cool. So I don't mean to take you too long, but Storm the Gates 2018. You guys planning on any new records or?
Yeah, we're always writing and never stop writing. You know, it's just we've always got riffs and fucking devilish beats and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because it's only really a year for that album because it actually came out at the end of the year, so it was. You know, it was really a 2018, 2019 release for us.
Yeah.
But you know, once you get to the stage where, you know, I'm 40 years into my career, you know, we can't be releasing an album every year because it's you won't get the quality that way. You know, it's not like when you start out and you write a shitload of songs and you release your first, say, 3 albums quite close to each other, and then after that you need to start taking more time to write killer songs. I mean, I've done rushed albums and regretted it.
Right.
So, you know, I've learned by my mistakes that if I don't have the time to let the song settle, I mean, you get that thing when you're playing a new song, you'll speed it up, you'll slow it down, you know. I mean, the killer one for me has always been Seven Gates because we recorded that as we learned it. And as soon as we played it live, it changed completely.
Yeah. Really?
Like, fucking hell, you know. I wanted to go back and do it again, you know, but it's one of those things, isn't it?
You seem to come up with things in time with the experience of the song. You know, you might come up with a new sort of riff, like beginning of it or ending, and you think, fuck, wish we'd have done that, like when we recorded it. But
it's like the solo might go on longer, or you might it's fucking taking ages, cut it. You know?
It's like giving the songs time to breathe, and they come a bit more alive when you do them live, you know, so...
So a couple questions, and a couple things came up that are not on my questions here. First, been at it for 40 years or whatever you've been doing. You ever have difficulty not writing the same song or doing... Does that make sense?
It's funny because, to answer that, when we get to the end of an album, for example, there's always leftover songs.
Right.
And every time, oh great, we've got a few songs ready for the next album, and they never go on the next album because they just write more.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, we kind of go, you know, I don't want to do that anymore because I'm familiar with it. Let's write some new stuff. It's the good thing about, I mean, this is now, we're into our 11th year of this lineup.
Right.
And this is the longest ever Venom lineup for me. And we're just getting more creative, not less.
That's great.
The ideas are, it's like you become a bit like sort of telepathic with each other, and you get each other where you're going with something, we can slow down and speed up without saying let's slow down and speed up, you know. And,
right, you're on the same vibe.
Yeah, you know.
The style of the song can sort of change when we're coming up with ideas. You know, it'll start with like a real heavy riff, and it can go a bit proggy. Even, you know,
right.
We just set it away, recording, just to get the ideas and see what we come up with. You know, and fucking hell, there's some great
because
ideas.
we've got no fear when we're writing songs now as well, because we're that comfortable with each other.
Yes.
You know, it's nobody's trying to prove anything to anyone. We're just trying to get the best song we can, and we've just over the past, you know, a couple of albums, we've really started to push and just go off on tangents and try it. And you know, maybe in the past it would be like, oh, that's not venomous enough, we'll put it to the side. Where now we just go, fuck it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I always continue to say it's one of the things that people have misunderstood what I meant when I created black metal. You know, the scene that came out of Norway 10 years after Venom was more like a death metal bunch of guys with white faces and, you know, black eyes, and you know, they should have put their own name to it. Norse metal, corpse metal, whatever. Black metal is taking rock and roll and bastardizing it. It's taking rock and roll's rules and just doing whatever is a fucking great idea, you know? Whether you're singing songs about, you know, I mean, we had songs like Teacher's Pet, you know, Buried Alive, you know, it went from one extreme to the next. One minute you're talking about being in school, the next minute you're talking about being locked in a coffin. And that was the idea behind black metal. It was like getting the rules and throwing them out the window. You take a band like Deep Purple, all they sing about is, oh yeah, lovely baby, got me whiskey, driving down the freeway. You know, and it's really like, you know, they're stuck. You know, they couldn't all of a sudden start singing about fucking aliens on another fucking planet.
That makes sense.
People be like, what the hell Richie Blackmore been smoking, you know? Whereas the whole idea behind black metal was to open up all the ideas and at the end of the day just say, is it a good song or not? Rather than, what are you singing about, you know?
That was some questions down I had later on about the origins of black metal, so you kind of addressed that. But so getting back to your song process, if you don't mind, real quick. When you guys are writing like with the all together, like the old school way, or emailing stuff?
We're a proper fucking band. We're
in studio.
Great live band.
We live not far from each other. We've got that, so we get together every week. We talk about all of the things about the band, and when it's when.
And in the end, songs, I think you can hear that, right? That becomes a more organic sort of. And it lives and breathes as opposed to being a sterile email. Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course. I mean, you hear a lot of the stuff that's came out since. I think it was when, you know, bands like Metallica released that sort of, you know, kind of monster movie, and they showed the sort of Pro Tools process and how everything can be recorded in samples and chopped together and everything
and sent to each other.
We like were so against that as a way of working. When you've got a drummer, a bass player, and a guitarist that can meet in the same room and bounce ideas off each other, the same way the guys in Zeppelin did it, the same way as the guys in the Beatles did it, and the Rolling Stones did it. Why the fuck do you want to change that, you know? Yes, you can use technology to kind of, you know, help things along the way, but you don't want them to be the beginning and end of everything, or you just, I don't know, it's just too, it's too clinical and methodical for me, and it loses any feel. You know,
I 100% agree. That's why I said that more organic. It lives and it breathes. I think you can feel it. You got swaying tempos. You got, I mean, things sway a little bit, but that's the way it's supposed to be, right?
It's human,
right? You know all that quantized shit doesn't work.
I just want to get the live thing onto an album. I want to get the sound of a live band playing, you know, together on the record. At the end of the day,
sort of like that. Forgive me for if this is insulting, but sort of like that punk ethic, right? Getting it.
Yeah, 100% punk. You know, that was the beginnings of the power metal idea. It was metal and punk mixed,
right?
Because metal was kind of going all sort of like lipsticky and spandex and not hardcore, you know.
Right.
The energy went out of it.
It's more like a fashion statement, wasn't it? Fashionistas, you know.
Yeah.
Where like the whole LA scene you're talking about.
So you know, as I started, there was the Motley Crues and the Rats.
And you guys were almost in like direct response to that,
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, you know, I remember the first Crew thing coming out, you know, with the pentagram on and everything. I was like, fucking hell. It's so backwards to the way you guys really are, you know.
Right.
You're fucking, you know, you're dressing up, trying your damnedest to look like women, you know.
Right.
Say, what the fuck?
Style over substance, wasn't it? And I wouldn't mind some of them bands had fucking great players as well.
Yeah, oh, they did.
Do you know what I mean? But it was all about the too much for the image.
Yeah.
Too much.
I remember seeing Poison's album cover and I thought, fucking hell, that's been airbrushed to look like women.
Yeah.
And yet when I've seen them live, they played at the Monsters of Rock only a couple of years after they came out.
Damn good live.
And fucking really good. Huh?
Yeah.
It was surprising. I was like, well, you know, in a way it reminded us of the kind of way Rod Stewart does it, you know, like he releases these really tacky poppy singles.
Love song kind
but
of
then
stuff,
he hits the stage and he plays like rock and roller, you know, so.
Yeah. So, 40 years in, your crowds are like multi-generational now, right? What's that like? I mean, because people like me are bringing their kids. That's got to be pretty cool, right?
Yeah, it's
absolutely.
awesome.
Really
It's always amazed me. You know, we haven't sort of just kept our old crowd who would have just got less and less and less. And
Right.
less. You know, our crowd keeps getting replaced by the younger generation. You know, and it's really fascinating.
It's good for us as well. I mean, we just come back from Germany and like the front row was just like fucking young kids,
Right.
And they're like giving the energy, and that just
It's
fucking
fantastic
pumps
to
us
see
up.
them, you know, singing along to these songs, the newer songs, the older songs, and these kids are like 12.
I know, man. That's what I'm saying. I bring my son to go see shows, and I always think about it. I look around and go, wow, look at these crowds.
And they haven't got the baggage as well. Do you
stuff.
know what I mean? They haven't got this like baggage where they go, oh, the band's brilliant, but like, oh, you know, I want nostalgia. These kids don't give a fuck about, you know. They're just like, they've picked up, you know, Fallen Angels or From the Very Depths, and that's their fucking gateway album.
That's why when we put our like sets together now, we try to kind of like please everybody, because we've met so many of the younger fans now who've sort of said, you know, we're not really a big fan of the early Welcome to Hells and the Black Metals, but we really love the Fallen Angels and the, you know, From the Very Depths, and it's like, you know, brilliant. You don't have to like that early
as long as you're buying a record. Sure,
same as the older guys who say, oh, not really into what you're doing now, preferred Welcome to Hell. That's fine. Like what you like. I mean, I'm the same. I like the early Status Quo stuff, and yet I don't like what they're doing now. So I get that, you know.
And I think it's dragged some of the older ones as well. Like, fuck, these kids are showing what up. And you can see some of, you know, the ones who used to stand at the back with the pints and all that, begrudgingly, you know, and you can see them going, like shit, you know what I mean? These young kids are taking my band away from me, so they're getting involved, you know, they're starting to get in, and it's fucking great, because you see some of the old familiar faces, and the young ones, and the hardcore, it's like On the Boat, man. You know, you see circle pits and jacuzzis and shit like
that's
that.
crazy.
I've just seen a conga with about 1,000 people going round it. I was like, fuck, it's like 10 o'clock in the morning. It was great.
I'm getting cut off here, but real quick, do you ever imagine you'd still be doing this after all this time?
Not really, no. We never looked at it as a long-term thing. It was kids having fun, playing with other people who were like-minded, who, you know, and the career kind of was spawned out of that. Always ready to roll with it, because it's something that I've always loved doing, you know, but no, because you always, I mean, we come from a fucking, like, you know, a small part of the country, north of England, which is a lot to do with people getting jobs, you know, mining, shipbuilding, you know, it's all industry, fishing,
blue collar kind of stuff,
you know, and rock stars come from everywhere else in the world, you know, so you don't imagine that you're going to be allowed to, you know, if you're not from London or New York, but yeah, always ready to roll with the punches, fuck it.
Alright everybody, what is up? It is Pathos back with your pick of the day, right here on the Brutally Delicious podcast. Today I have a band out of Lehighton, Pennsylvania, Another Day Dawns. This band's a lot like, for fans of Puddle of Mud, 3 Days Grace, Hinder, Shinedown, Red. If you like those bands, you're going to love these guys. Describe themselves as a high-energy hard rock band. We have a new single out, Taste of Heaven, which is what you hear underneath me right now. It's on their upcoming EP, Stranger, which that is available for pre-order right now at anotherdaydawns.com. Also, it's going to be on Spotify and Apple Music for you streamers out there. This band's been around since about 2010 in different forms. They started out doing hard rock covers, and they've morphed now into writing their own stuff over the last few years. The thing about this song that I noticed at first was what really caught me was the vocals. It was a really strong performance right out of the gate. The production on this song, once again, is great. Good job on that. The guitar riff is very catchy. The drumming is solid. Overall, this is one of those type of songs that really announces them as a band that knows what they're doing is very creative and really heartfelt in their performance and what they write. You might be asking me, Pathos, why aren't you reviewing something that's, more hard, extreme metal? Well, not everything has to be to that level. Sometimes you could just go with the more drawn down and actual clean vocals on things, and we know there's a lot of people out there that like that. I enjoy that from time to time, and as far as those go, this band is up there. I'm sure they're great live, so be sure you check these guys out. Follow them on Facebook. Find their stuff on YouTube. Check them out. Support them. And once again, with your pick of the day, this is Pathos on the Brutally Delicious Podcast.
Hello out there. Yes, hello out there, everyone. I'm Hal Schwartz.
And I'm Flynn McLean. Together we host None But the Brave, a podcast dedicated to the music and career of Bruce Springsteen.
Bruce and E Street Band are on tour right now for the first time in 6 years, and we're taking a detailed look at what's happening on stage in our bi-weekly episodes.
We've also been recently joined by some very exciting guests, including rock journalist Warren Zanes and Stephen Hayden, Backstreet's Magazine founder Charles Cross, and Barstool's Kirk Minahan.
If you're a diehard Springsteen fan, this is the show for you.
So please subscribe to None But the Brave on your favorite podcasting platform, and we hope to see you further on up the road.
Thank you so much. We'll be seeing you.